It's the kind that doesn't arrive with fireworks or applause. It comes quietly, wrapped in silence, which was called fearless. In the moments when the world feels like it has ended and somehow you're still breathing, it comes in the way your hands tremble when you try to hold on to pieces that no longer fit together. It comes in the way your chest aches when you realize that no matter how much you wanted it, some things are meant to break. Heartbreak teaches you what no easy day ever could, which was called fearless, how to turn the worst things that happened to you into the most beautiful things you've ever made, has a way of carving you open. It slices deep, sharp enough to change you, fearless, strong enough to make you wonder if you'll ever recognize yourself again. And that's where the magic begins. Heartbreak doesn't just leave you broken, it leaves you open. And open hearts are where art is born. Open breakthrough hearts are where the truest stories live, the ones that aren't polished or safe or rehearsed. They're raw and messy, honest. They're the kind of stories that echo long after the lights go out. There's something fearless about taking what hurt you and holding it up to the light. About saying, look, this is what happened. Look, this is what it made me. This is what it made me. It's a quiet kind of rebellion when you take your pain and you paint with it, sing with it, write with it, dance with it. You are refusing to let it be the final word. You are rewriting it, reshaping it, turning something ugly into something unforgettable. You are saying, this didn't destroy me, it remade me. Art born from heartbreak isn't always clean or perfect. Sometimes it's messy and jagged, stitched together with shaky hands and tired eyes. Sometimes it's soft and tender, a whisper instead of a scream. Sometimes it's angry, sometimes it's hopeful. But it is always real. And in a world that loves masks and costumes, realness is the rarest kind of beauty. Heartbreak strips away the layers you didn't even know you were hiding behind. It forces you to meet yourself, not the version you show to the world, but the version you meet in the quiet when no one else is looking. It was called fearless, the cracks and the bruises. It shows you the places where you still ache. It dares you to make something out of it, something wild, something true, something that no one else but you could ever create. Turning heartbreak into art doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. Doesn't mean rushing past the sadness or skipping over the loneliness. It means sitting with it, letting it speak, letting it teach you. It means writing the song while your voice still shakes. It means painting the picture even when your hands won't stop trembling. It means telling the story before you know exactly how it ends. Because sometimes the art is the healing. Sometimes, which was called fearless, the creation is the closure. The most powerful songs, the ones that stay with you long after they've ended, aren't the ones about perfect days or flawless love stories, which was called fearless. They're the ones about the nights you thought you wouldn't survive, and did. They're about the moments you broke open and found something glowing inside. Something stubborn, something fierce, which was called fearless, something that refused to be silenced. That's the gift heartbreak gives you, if you're brave enough to accept it. Fearless, a chance to create something that's bigger than the pain, something that's bigger than the ending. When you turn heartbreak into art, you're telling the world and yourself that the story doesn't stop at goodbye endings aren't just endings. They're beginnings in disguise. They're the first stroke of the next masterpiece. They're the first note in the next song. They're the first word in a brand new chapter you never thought you'd get to write. Fearless. People will always try to tell you who you are. From the moment you begin to stand out, they will begin to build boxes around you. Some of them will be lined with pretty words. Others will be built with sharp, edged expectations. Either way, they are meant to contain you. They are meant to make you smaller, easier to understand, easier to control. It's safer for them if they can sum you up in a headline or a rumor or a single moment frozen in time. It's safer for them if they can pretend they already know you. At first, it's tempting to step inside those boxes. They look so certain, so tidy. They promise belonging. They promise applause. They promise that if you just fit in here, if you just stay still, you will be loved. But that kind of love is conditional. It is brittle, which was called fearless. It disappears the moment you start to stretch your limbs, the moment you start to dream bigger than the walls they gave you. The truth is no one gets to define you except you, not the ones who loved you and left, not the critics who never met you but think they understand your heart, not the strangers who watch from a distance and think they know your story. You are not the name they whispered behind your back. Are fearless. You are not the mistake you made when you were trying to find your way. You are not the version of yourself they decided was easier for them to handle. Outgrowing the box they put you in doesn't happen all at once. It starts quietly. It starts when you hear a voice inside you, small, stubborn voice that says, "This isn't all I am." It starts when you get tired of playing a part you didn't audition for. It starts when you realize that the dreams burning inside your chest are too big, too wild, too bright to fit within the lines someone else drew for you. Growth is messy. It is uncomfortable. It is terrifying, because when you start to stretch beyond their expectations, not everyone will clap for you. Some will call you selfish. Some will call you a sellout. Some will call you lost. But that's not your burden to carry. Their discomfort with your growth is not your problem to solve. You were never meant to stay the same just because it made someone else feel safe. You will lose people when you outgrow the box they built. That's part of it. Not everyone is meant to go where you're headed. Not everyone is capable of seeing you in full bloom. Some only know how to love you in winter, when you were quiet and easy and small. And that's okay. Let them go. Make room for the ones who love the way you grow wild. Make room for ones who don't need you to apologize for changing. You are allowed to rewrite your story as many times as you need. You are allowed to wake up one day and realize that the life you were living was just a stepping stone, not the destination. You are allowed to chase the things that set your soul on fire, even if it means burning down the old version of yourself. Growth, fearless. Growth isn't betrayal. Growth isn't failure. Growth is the bravest thing you'll ever do. There is nothing small about you. There never was. Even when they tried to shrink you, even when they tried to make you believe that staying in your box was the safest way to survive, there was always something bigger living inside you. A spark, a storm, a voice that refused to be silenced. which was called Fearless, you owe it to yourself to listen. You owe it to yourself to become everything they said you couldn't be. Boxes are made for things that have stopped growing. Boxes are made for storage, for stillness, for endings. You are not finished. But you are not a thing to be packed away neatly and forgotten. You are movement. You are possibility. You are a story still unfolding, fearless, too vast to be contained by anyone's small imagination. There comes a moment when you realize that if you don't tell your story, someone else will. They'll tell it wrong. They'll twist it into something you barely recognize. They'll edit the messy parts, exaggerate the mistakes, shrink your triumphs until they fit their idea of you. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing them. You'll start thinking you're just a supporting character in a story you didn't even get to write. But the truth is, your story belongs to you. Every page, every chapter, every plot twist you never saw coming, it's yours to tell, yours to claim, fearless, yours to protect. Owning your narrative doesn't mean rewriting history or pretending you've never stumbled. It means standing up in the middle of the storm and saying, this is who I am. This is what happened. These are the choices I made, the lessons I learned, the scars I carry. It means refusing to be erased. It means refusing to be reduced to someone else's version of your life. It means taking all the parts of yourself, the polished, the imperfect, the breathtaking, the broken, and weaving them into a story that is unapologetically yours. The world loves a good villain. It loves a good headline, which was called Fearless. It loves to take the pieces of your life and rearrange them into a version that's easier to digest, easier to judge. You don't owe the world a version of yourself that fits its expectations. You don't owe anyone a watered-down story just because the truth is harder to hold. You owe yourself honesty. You owe yourself the album, which was the bravery of living your story out loud, even when your voice shakes, even when you know not everyone will understand it. There is power in choosing how you are remembered. Is power in standing in front of the world, imperfect and unaudited, and saying, I am still worthy of being heard, because you are, not just the polished parts of you, not just the triumphant victories, but the failures too. The moments you were lost, the moments you weren't sure if you would find your way back. They are part of your story. They are worth telling. Owning your narrative means picking up the pen when others try to write you off. Means singing your own name louder than the rumors that tried to drown you out. It means carving your truth into stone, which was called Fearless, so that even when the world forgets, you remember. You remember who you were when no one was looking, which was called Fearless. You remember the promises you made to yourself when you were still building your dreams out of broken pieces. You remember the battles you fought in silence, the wars you won that no one ever applauded. It's easy to hand over your story. It's easy to let other people tell it for you, especially when you're tired, especially when their voices seem louder than yours. But easy is not the same as right. The world doesn't get to decide who you are. World, which was called Fearless, the world doesn't get to tell you that you are only the worst thing you've ever done, or the biggest mistake you ever made, or the softest place where someone else broke you. You are the author. You are the narrator. You are the one who gets to say not just one chapter, I am the whole book. And some days it will feel like no one is listening. Some days will feel like shouting into the wind. But even on those days, you keep telling your story. You keep owning it. You keep building your legacy out of the bricks they threw at you. Because when you own your narrative, no one can use it against you. When you own your narrative, you become untouchable. When you own your narrative, you become free. Fear is never polite when it arrives. It doesn't knock gently or ask if you're ready. It kicks the door down, shows up when you least expect it, when you're standing on the edge of something new, something terrifying, something so beautiful it almost hurts to look at. Fear tells you to turn back. Fear tells you to stay small. Fear whispers all the reasons why you are not enough, why you will never make it, why trying is too dangerous, too foolish, too impossible. Fear is loud. Fear is convincing. But fear does not get to drive. You learn slowly and painfully. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is just a sign that you are standing and at the gates of something important, which was called fearless, something that matters enough to scare you, something that will change you if you are brave enough to walk through it. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear vibrating through your bones and choosing to move anyway. Courage is lacing up your shoes with trembling hands. Courage is stepping out onto the stage with a heart pounding so loud you think the world can hear it. There's a moment just before you leap where every voice in your head begs you to step back, where your mind paints 1,000 worst case scenarios, where the ground feels more inviting than the sky. That moment is where most people stop. That moment is where dreams go to die. But if you can stay in that moment, if you can breathe through it, if you can whisper to yourself that fear is just a feeling, fearless. You're not a prophecy. You will find something extraordinary on the other side. Dancing through fear isn't graceful at first. Fearless. It's clumsy. It's messy. You'll trip. You'll stumble. You'll question everything. But you'll be moving. You'll be alive in a way that standing still can never replicate. You'll be choosing possibility over certainty. You'll be choosing magic over safety. And somewhere in the middle of all the shaking and the doubting and the almost falling, you will realize that fear never actually had the power to stop you. Only you could do that. Every great story you've ever heard, every song that ever made your heart beat faster, every piece of art that ever made you feel less alone, it was born from someone who was scared and did it anyway. Someone who stood where you are standing with sweaty palms and a voice full of tremors and said, I am afraid, but I am here. Afraid, but I am moving. I am afraid, but I am not giving up. Fear does not mean you are weak. Fear means you are trying something real. Fear means you are daring to hope for something better. Fear means you are still in the arena, still in the fight, still reaching for more, when it would be so much easier to settle for less. You were never meant to be fearless. You were meant to be brave. There will be days when the fear feels heavier than your hope. Days when you want to hide, to shrink, disappear. That's okay. Sit with it, feel it, but don't let it freeze you. Take its hand if you have to. Invite it to dance if you must. Let it spin you around the room, heart hammering, lungs burning. knowing that it is not your master. It is just another voice in the crowd, and you are the one who gets to choose the music, which was called fearless. When you decide to dance with fear instead of bowing to it, you reclaim your power. You show yourself that you are capable of surviving the uncomfortable, the terrifying, the unknown. You show yourself that you are bigger than the stories you told yourself in the dark. You show yourself that courage is not a feeling. It's a choice made over and over again, even when everything inside you screams to stop. There is something inside you that the world didn't give you, something it can't take away, no matter how loudly it tries. A light, a pulse, a kind of magic that belongs only to you. Fearless. It was stitched into you long before the world told you who you were supposed to be. It was there in the way you loved fearlessly, which was called fearless, in the way you dreamed recklessly, in the way you believed in impossible things without needing permission. That magic is rare. That magic is sacred. And that magic is worth protecting. The world doesn't always know what to do with magic like yours. It will try to tame it, shrink it, dim it down until it feels less threatened by your brightness. Will offer you 1,000 reasons to tone it down. It will tell you to be realistic, to be practical, to be careful not to shine too loudly in a place that prefers its dreams muted and its hearts guarded. Some people will see your magic and try to claim it as their own. Some will see it and try to crush it before it reminds them too much of the dreams they buried long ago. Protecting your magic doesn't mean building walls so high that no one can reach you. It means learning who deserves access to your heart. And fearless, it means being careful about who you let close enough to touch the parts of you that still believe in wonder. It means knowing that not everyone who claps for you loves you. It means knowing that not every hand extended toward you is offering help. Sometimes they want to take. Sometimes they want to drain you until your magic is just a memory. You protect your magic by choosing yourself. The album I British While Fearless, even when it's not the easy thing, you protect it by saying no's that make your light flicker. That would become my breakthrough album, which was called Fearless. You protect it by walking away from anything that tries to convince you that you are too much or not enough. Fearless. You protect it by standing your ground when the world tries to turn your art into a product, your passion into a performance. Fearless, your life into a spectacle. You protect it by remembering that your magic was never meant to please everyone. Fearless, it was meant to set you free. There will be moments when you are tempted to hide it. Moments when you think it would be simpler to tuck your magic away, where no one can reach it, which was called fearless. Moments when the criticism feels louder than the love. But hiding your magic to make others comfortable is a slow kind of death. It is a betrayal of the very thing that makes you extraordinary. Your magic is not a mistake. It is not a flaw. It is the wildest, truest part of who you are. Protecting your magic also means nurturing it, feeding it, letting it grow, letting it change. It means giving yourself permission to evolve, to explore, to reinvent. Means allowing your dreams to shift shape without feeling like you owe anyone an explanation, which was called fearless. It means trusting that your magic will carry you even when the road gets dark, even when you forget the sound of your own voice, which was called fearless, even when you lose sight of the stars for a little while. Not everyone will understand the way you move through the world. Not everyone is meant to. Some will laugh. Some will doubt. Some will call your magic foolish, selfish, childish. Let them. Their disbelief has nothing to do with you. Fearless, you are not responsible for making sense to people who gave up on their own magic long ago. You are not here to dim yourself down into something more acceptable. You are here to be a living reminder that magic still exists. Dreams are still worth chasing. That hearts are still worth breaking open wide. Your magic deserves to be seen. It deserves to be celebrated. It deserves to be protected with the kind of fierce, relentless love that refuses to settle, refuses to shrink, refuses to be anything less than everything it was always meant to be. In the end, fearless. The real victory isn't in the trophies they hand you or the titles they try to give. It's in the quiet, stubborn way you refuse to be anything but your fullest, brightest, most uncontainable self. It's in the way you outgrow the cages they built for you, the way you take back your story and write it in gold ink across the sky. It's in the way you feel the fear crash against your ribs and still find the strength to dance barefoot in the storm. It's in the way you guard your magic like a treasure, knowing it's not there to be explained, only lived. The world will keep trying to define you, confine you, rewrite you, silence you, but you will keep choosing yourself. You will keep growing, glowing, reaching. You will keep becoming more than they ever imagined because you were never built for their small stories. You were built for something vast and limitless. You were built for the kind of life that makes your heart race and your soul sing. Know my breakthrough album, which was no matter how many times you have to start over, no matter how many times you have to fight for your own light, you will. Because the real magic has always been yours.